Hey y'all, it is my first video journal slash journey of 2019, and I am not going to make any promises about how many videos I'll make this year because I did not do many last year at all, only probably 19 or so. And the year before, I think 180 something. Whatever, I have not done a full year of daily journals. So, I'm not going to promise any quantity, but I will say that it is my full intention to give better quality as far as content goes. Nothing fancy as far as the videos. It's still just my phone. But anyhow, so let's get into it. It is going into the second week of January. It's like the 11th today, I think. And a lot of people have recently, as of the 1st, made their New Year's resolutions. Not everyone, but many people have. And I think that it's great to make New Year's resolutions whenever it fits your situation best. I make mine on my soul day, which to most of you is called a birthday. I call it soul day. And that's when I make my resolutions for the new year of my life. And some people do in the spring. I just think it's great to make resolutions at some point, even if it's with the changing of the seasons. Anytime we can stop and reevaluate our current goals, see how they're fitting into our lives, how we're moving along with them, I think it's a great opportunity. And we can also just do that as something daily. So first off, before I really get started about my topic, one thing I would recommend doing as a daily practice to help you move slowly into, see my T'Challa. He's such a sweetie. He's a brat sometimes, but he's a cuddly cat and he's beautiful. Anyway, to move into your day, I recommend books with very short stories or motivation. So like this one, it's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff by Richard Carlson, PhD. I actually spent 50 cents on this at the library. The first time I read it, a friend loaned it to me, and I loved it. And so when I saw it at the library, I bought it. Not that I might necessarily go back and read it again, but it would be a great thing to pass along as a gift for a friend. But at times I may. Who knows? I might go back and read it again. Currently, I'm reading this one. See that? It's called Quiet Mind, 1-Minute Retreats from a Busy World by David Koontz. And I read that every morning. When I get to work, I go in, I get a cup of coffee, and I read my book. And oftentimes I read it with my executive director. She is awesome and amazing. She knows I do this every morning, and it literally only takes 1, maybe 2 minutes if I'm really pondering on the information. So it's really great. But the reason I bring this up is because we're talking about resolutions. I'm in my morning hair, morning breath and all. Well, I have coffee breath now. So you gotta love me, all natural. That's me. But so I wanted to read this to you all because I feel it's very important when you're making your resolutions. And in this book, The Quiet Mind 1-Minute Retreats from a Busy World, on page 205, if you decide to get the book, I read this and I think it's very applicable to making resolutions. And it says learning to stop. And in this book, when he's talking about stopping, he's talking about taking time to observe your surroundings, taking a little quiet time of peace, a time of just not doing anything. So that's what that means. Learning to stop is the name of this one. And at the beginning, he gives a quote by someone every couple pages. These are only 2 pages long. So it says, I'm struck by how seldom company builders consider the questions of what to stop doing. That was a quote by Jim Collins. I'm going to read it again. I'm struck by how seldom company builders consider the question of what to stop doing. Jim Collins wrote an article in Inc. magazine titled Pulling the Plug. His idea is that if you want to make room for all those new projects, then you better stop one thing you're doing right now, because it will be disastrous if you don't. There's only so much time and only so much can fit in it. It seems so hard for us to end things, to close a business, to stop volunteering, to close up shop, to shut down a church, to end a program, to discontinue a tradition, to quit a service. Our usual decision is not to end one thing and begin another, but to keep doing the one and add on the other. It gets us into big trouble. In his article, Collins gives a personal example. In my left hand, War and Peace. In my right, the TV clicker. TV usually won out, he explains. So he clarified his priority and jettisoned the TV. His reading productivity soared. Ask yourself at the beginning of any new activity or program as you start any new assignment or responsibility, do I need to stop doing something in order to do this? And more important, is there anything I can in fact stop doing in order to do this? If so, what? Will you begin a half-hour exercise program? What half-hour activity will you end? Want to spend a couple of hours each week reading? Are there 2 hours available? Where can you pull the plug? Notice today if there is something you want to stop in your life. So we only have 24 hours a day, so while we're making these New Year's resolutions and what have you, we have to think about what are we going to eliminate in order to establish something as a routine in our life. So are we watching too much TV when we should be reading or exercising or what have you? But we cannot add activities without subtracting activities because we cannot add any hours to our day. So think about that as you're making your resolutions. What are some things you would like to eliminate so that you can replace them with the things that you feel are more important? I hope that helps, and I want to send out love, light, and healing energy to everyone. Ask that you pass it on. Take care, everyone. Have a great 2019.